Welcome to the session on patriotism. This is the sixth segment that you're seeing for the day. Hope you have all the energy to go forth and learn about Bharat and introduce Bharat to our children in a fun way, in a cool way. So that's what we're going to see. So like yesterday, I'm going to go through what is the vision behind patriotism. Why are we introducing patriotism this early? So this is in third, fourth classes. So it must be 8 years, 9 years of age children that we are addressing right now. So what are the aspects of patriotism that we are going to take to children of that age? That is the first thing we will be seeing. One is contribution of India to the world, because we have a lot to our credit, right? From meditation to yoga to the food to the dressing practices, because sari now is internationally taken as a formal attire. Where did it come from? From here. So there are so many like that. So we have contributed to the world in various many ways. Our children should know all that to be proud of it. Only when we know about something, we become proud of it. Correct? So that is what we are attempting here. The second topic that we'll be seeing is unity in diversity, because land of Bharat is completely diverse, north, south, east, west. We will be speaking different languages, we'll be eating different food, we'll be having different customs, but yet we are one nation. So what binds us together? What is that commonality that makes us one nation beyond the geographic borders that we have? Then the next one is about the strengths, because usually what goes in from the media and all the news that are coming in is this is wrongly happening in this place, and this is wrong, this is wrong. So there is so much of negative news about Bharat that is very, very found very easily online, found very easily around us. So here we are trying to reinforce what are the strengths of Bharat, and that is how we become proud of what we have inherited. Because without spending one penny, we have inherited so much, and we don't even know the worth of all of that. So taking that forth to a child at the age of 8 or 9, that means the child is becoming a proud Bharatiya right below 10 years of age. So that is going to go down to their value system. That strong it will go down. And the next topic is the pride of a country. That is, there are so many people who have done exemplary work and they have stood out in the world. So bringing those people to limelight, or bringing those kind of, say, a particular place which is achieved, so bringing that into limelight so that children feel proud of the place. So that is pride of the country. And the last one, which is the most important one, is civic consciousness. What is civic consciousness? We are creating responsible, positive contributors to the society right at this age. At 8 or 9 years of age, if it goes inside your system that it is my responsibility to take care of my country, I have to support my country in every small way possible. If that goes down into the child's heart and sits right there, your job is done. As a teacher, our job is done, right? So that civic consciousness is what we are trying to bring out, various aspects of it through this particular segment. So in this, we will be seeing a few lessons covering these topics. The first lesson that we are going to see is from class 3, the boy who loved his country. Okay, so we usually think patriotism means we should talk about India, India, India. Patriotism is a common feeling. A person who is living in China can be patriotic about his country. A person living in Japan, a person in the United States can be patriotic about their own countries. So here is a beautiful, before that I'll go into the objectives. Here is a beautiful story where we take the child into a story where they imbibe patriotism automatically by looking at what the little boy did in that story. Okay, before that I'm going to say what are the objectives of this particular lesson. We want the child to know that it is every individual's responsibility to protect the nation's pride. It's not somebody who's an achiever. It is me and you who have to become the achiever to make India proud. And then what should we feel? If we don't feel that love and respect to our nation, do you think we will put our nation first? above all our selfish needs? Not possible. So love and respect, cultivating that. What should the children think? What all can I do to make my country proud? If I do this, will my country be proud of me? If I do this, will my country be proud of me? So for every choice that you take, if the child is thinking about what will my country get out of this, it's a brilliant thought process that we are imbibing in the child. What do we want them to do? We want them to express their love for the country in every possible way. So let's go into the story. This is a story of Swami Ramatirtha. So Swami Ramatirtha was once traveling in a Japanese ship, and he was a complete vegetarian. So when he was traveling in the ship, everything that was served there had meat in it, meat or egg or something there. So he couldn't taste anything. He couldn't, breakfast, lunch, dinner, none of it he could touch. So there was a fruit bowl given complimentary to the passengers who were traveling first class. So he went and requested to the crew saying, can I have that fruit bowl? That time the crew on the ship said, we will be able to give you the fruit bowl only if somebody who is in the first class decides not to have it, because we have exact number of fruit bowls that are required. But if somebody decides, okay, I don't want the fruit bowl for the day, I can give it to you. So now this man is going hungry. But when he thought, okay, everything is being taken, everybody has taken their fruit bowl. So everything is being taken, and then he turns around and he thinks, okay, today I'm going to be hungry. That's all right. But at that point in time, he felt somebody tugging at his robes. And when he turned around, he saw a little Japanese boy who came and gave him the fruit bowl. And Swami Ramatirtha was kind of taken aback. He took this fruit bowl and then he looked at the boy and said, don't you want to eat these fruits? The boy gave a brilliant reply that we will remember forever. He said, that's okay. More than the fruits, I don't want anybody to say they went hungry on a Japanese ship. I repeat, he said, I don't want anybody to say that they went hungry on a Japanese ship. That is more important to me. A boy who is sub 10-year-old is able to think about his nation and think about what others think about his nation. Right? That is patriotism. That is the story. So here we will make the child think about what is patriotism. How can you show this love for the country? We have already learned in the first two lessons that first two classes, yes, our country is great, our country is given so much to the world, our country still gives us everything that we have, the air we breathe, the food we eat, everything comes from our country. We have to be grateful. But how to show it? So that is when we tell, okay, what is the job of your father? What does your mother work as? What about your siblings, your uncle, your aunt? They're all doing different jobs, right? Through their jobs, what do? They earn money, okay, they bring home money. But beyond money, what is it that they do? They are helping the nation grow. They are putting in the hard work and good effort through which India is growing, India is progressing. So we bring in that aspect into the child's mind. You might think, oh, that is too huge to a child. No, an 8, 9-year-old, as you all know, can understand these subtler aspects and become proud of that. Okay, we give them examples right from, say, scientists in ISRO. They are working day and night so that they can send satellites to space. Then you see army, people in the army, the navy, they in the air force, they are all protecting our country day and night. They are getting maybe once in 6 months they get to come home and see their family. Rest of the time they are away from their family. For they are actually working for us whom they have never even seen in their lives, right? So something like that, we talk about the soldiers. Then we talk about, say, where do you get all your stuff from? Say today, kids might even say, I get it all from Amazon, from Flipkart. Yes, even on Amazon, Flipkart, there are shopkeepers, there are retailers, there are shops everywhere, right? From them you get all of this. They create the money for the economy. What do? In a very honest way, when they are paying taxes, when they are doing their business, that also creates wealth for our country. So they are also to be respected. Then we also talk about, say, scavengers, say, sweepers at your school, any person, those who are doing cleaning jobs, even they are keeping the country clean. Imagine one day without them. Imagine a week without them. Imagine they go on strike. What will happen to our homes? What will happen outside our homes? Imagine we have celebrated a festival, but they are, even while doing our festival, we might have a lot of waste outside, but even that they are cleaning up. They don't take a leave even on that day. They are cleaning up. So we talk about different occupations, different professions that people hold, and how they from their occupations are actually contributing to India. So that is how we tell them that by respecting and loving people and their professions, people of India, you are actually respecting India. Like in the morning session, you would have heard Harsha Didi say, you have to love Kuchalambal. How do you love Kuchalambal when you don't know who is Kuchalambal? You can see a face, you can see a form, then you can express something. Now, how do you love India? How does she look? Bharat Mata, does she look like this? Does she look like that? So there is no personification. So we see our country through our countrymen, through our countrywomen, everything. That is, we see our country through our people. That way we get them to respect and love our country. Okay. So here, these are some points for discussion. So I'm going to open the chat box. All of you, hope you can chat it out. So the question here is, what do you love about our country? Your country, as in our country here. What do you love about our country? Quick, quick, quick. It's all on timer. That is 5 seconds for each question. That's it. Okay. Quickly. You don't get, this is rapid fire. You don't get too much time to. Everything is a very generic answer. Unity in diversity, unity, culture, rich heritage, food. Yes, now truths are coming out. Knowledge, beauty of nature, freedom we enjoy, rich heritage, treasure that is within the Sanskrit language. Okay, relationship, history. Right, that's great. So what do you love about your country? We ask these to our children. Okay, we get them to sit in a group and we get them to discuss and come out with answers. Okay, we tell them you have to come out with 10 different answers. If everybody had the same answer like you, so maximum people said culture, maximum people said history. So if it's the same answer, we say no. We have to come out with 10 different answers. That is when we think beyond our already, typical answers that we already know. Okay, spirituality, heritage, yes. So the next question, okay, hands on your chat boxes. Next question. Why do you think the Japanese boy did not want anyone to say anything bad about his country? Why do you think so? Quick answers. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Patriotism, love for country, respect country, real patriot feels proud. Okay, taught patriotism, love for his country, he loved his country, love and respect. Okay, thank you. Okay, so the love and respect for the country, and when you feel that belongingness to some place, you will never give it up. Correct? Suppose you love your, say, a friend. You love your friend. Okay, and somebody speaks something wrong about your friend. Will you give up your friend? Won't you stand up for your friend? Saying, hey, how can you say something like that about my friend? He's my friend. Correct? That my country came there, that complete belongingness, that minus for the country. Right. The next question, ready? Identify 3 things you should do and 3 things that you should not do. Okay. So that the image of your country is protected. So that people think great about your country. Quick. Love, being honest, sharing. Okay, quick. You don't have to type the entire answer in one sentence. You can keep typing. Clean surroundings, avoid discrimination, follow rules, tradition, being humble, Spirit of patriotism. Okay, honest, cleanliness, corrupt free, never give up our country. Now, remember, you're not talking about somebody else. It's not like somebody else has to be honest so that I value their country. It's also a mirror to ourselves. When we say non-corrupt country, it means I should not give bribe for anything. Come what may, I will not compromise on that value. I will not give a bribe. So that people don't look at me and think my country is corrupt. Because how do people judge? How do people judge? These statistics and everything coming from? It is coming from our behavior, right? So what we do reflects on our country. Our country might have a glorious past, but what people speak about our country today depends on what I do today, right? So that is one thing we have to drill into the child. Saying, looking at you, if you're a good boy, people will say, okay, he is a good boy, he must, his country must be great. Like that, we bring that into the country, into the child. Okay, the next one. Sorry. How can you serve your country? Now think from an 8-9-year-old's perspective. How can you serve your country? How do you become a good citizen? Being a good citizen, yes, you can serve your country, but how? Shanmuga Priya ma'am, I'm going to ask you to unmute. Can you unmute? Okay, fine. If you raise hands, I will ask you to unmute. Yes. Okay, respecting elders, because when you respect elders, through that value, you're showing to that elder in your country, you're serving your country. That way, if you're even serving anybody, by serving the people of the country, you're serving the country. If you can put that point across to the child, it will be brilliant. So the next one, very interestingly, one thing we are going to introduce to the child through this lesson is keep your country in your prayers. Because they pray every day. What do they pray for? We will guide them what to pray for. Why? It's not just, okay, I should be good. I should get this. I should get this many marks in class. I should get, whatever gift I want for my birthday. Is that enough? Like Swami Mitrananji says it in a brilliant way. Okay. He says, with every selfish prayer, do 2 selfless prayers. That will make you more and more selfless. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that easy to follow? Very easy. Even as adults, we can follow, right? With every selfish prayer, God, please help me finish this task on time. Selfish prayer. 2 selfless prayers. For somebody you might know, somebody you might not know. Right? So in that prayer list, checking, is there somebody unmuted? Swamiji, can you mute all?
Yes, I will mute all.
Thank you. Okay, checking. You can hear me, right? Okay, so keeping the country in the prayers, what would we pray for? God, please keep. Checking. Checking, okay. So God, please keep the soldiers at the border safe and happy. God, let the farmers who grow the food I eat always stay prosperous or stay happy. Then, God, may my country always be blessed with clean air, water, rains, and food. We take these things for granted these days. But these are also blessings. So why not pray for those blessings? God, please keep my people fit, healthy, and always happy. So here we are praying for the country and country's people. So this expands the child's vision beyond themselves, right? So to give them a perspective, you can add so many more prayers. So many more prayers can be added. So what else are we doing in this lesson? We are encouraging the child to at least, as an homework, go and interview people. Interview 10 different people. Talk to them how they are contributing to India. It will be 2 things, okay? One is the child is understanding what the person is doing. Maybe uncle, aunt, or brother, sister, somebody. Okay, one is that. The other is they will also, when somebody comes and asks them, how are you contributing to India? They will also think, Oh yeah, how am I contributing to India? So we are making two people think at the same time. One is the child, one is the person they are approaching, right? So how do they contribute to India? Can be in various different ways. It's not just our family. It can be outside our family also. It can be the school watchman. They go and ask, Anna, how are you contributing to India? They can go to a vegetable vendor and ask, Bhaiya, how are you contributing to India? You know, but in a simple way. And when a child asks, everybody thinks. So this is a way to make people think. The next one is a bulletin activity where you can have a class bulletin and everyone can bring a positive news about India. So one positive news and everybody is given a chance. So there is a calendar put and each one child will bring one good news about India. So that way they can also talk about a good news, saying, okay, we have won in this Olympic Games, or we have done this and this person has brought us glory, and then put that person's picture on the bulletin, something like that. So at the end of say 30 days, you have 30 positive news about India. Imagine, even the parents won't know all this. So if the child takes back one or two of this and goes back home and Googles on their parents' phone, at least then the parent will know about it. So that way, through the child, we are taking patriotism home. We are delivering patriotism, literally. Okay. So some of the class tips is, when we are talking about all of this, we have to be respectful towards people. So after talking about service and everybody serving the nation, you cannot use disrespectful words or body language to address people, be it the housekeeping staff or the security, anybody else. So show pictures and videos of people who are doing very unique work. It could be handicraft, it could be pottery, dancers, anything. They are keeping up an art, and that way they are serving the nation by just doing their art form, because they are preserving that art form. So that way also kids will get to know about various different professions that are there in the country. And make sure that the child looks up to all the people irrespective of their gender, how they look, what is their age, what they do, doesn't matter. You should still look up to people. That's the theme of this class. So as a recap or as an assessment in the next class, you can probably see how they have interviewed different people. What is the perspective they've got back from that? What do they feel? And how do they show respect to those who work for the country? So they could simply say, if I see an army man, I will salute them. Yeah, I write letters to people thanking them. It can just be anybody, because post office these days delivers letters to the border irrespective of who you are. You can just give it in a bunch and it goes to the soldiers back there. So such things can be encouraged. Sorry, it's not class 1, it's class 3, typo. So the next lesson we are going to go into is a very, very interesting lesson. Now full on participation only. Okay, so Taste of India is the lesson's name. It's about unity in diversity. So first, to start off, what's your favorite Indian food? Type out your answer. Chat box is open. What's your favorite Indian food? Quick, 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 quick. Idli, Pongal. All South Indians, huh? Mm-hmm. Paratha, dosa, roti, uttapam, puliyodara, idli, sambar, puran poli, rasam, dosa. Food is everything. Okay, it can be sweets, it can be juices, it can be anything. Modak, dosa, khichdi, sambar rice. Very good, nice people. Nobody says very complicated dishes. Always favorites are, home food, very simple food. That's what is a favorite, right? Always. Gulab jamun, unniyappam. See, you can say anything. I'm not going to order it and give it to you. So you can say anything here. Okay. 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 Stop. Okay. So this lesson is about food of India, because you know that India has a beautiful geographic terrain and we are blessed with abundance of natural resources, such that different styles of crops and different kinds of crops are all grown all over. Even be it the fruits, vegetables, be it the crops that we grow, it is all diverse. Okay, what is a staple food in the north of India is not the staple food in the south, is not the staple food in the east versus west. We all have different staple food also. So what do we want children to know? We want them to become aware of the rich variety and what is the commonality. in the food practices. Even though we are eating different stuff, we have a particular method to the madness. So what is that? And then what do they want to, what do we want them to feel? Love and pride in this amazing spread of Indian cuisine. We want them to appreciate the uniqueness and commonality of the regional cuisines. And also we want them to be open to try out different food. So we are going to tempt them. Okay, this is going to be here. It's not a story, but rather the story is weaved into a treasure hunt. So there is this little boy called Bharat, and that Bharat's birthday is happening. Happy birthday, Bharat. Everybody is coming around, and all the aunties, including his mom, have created a mini food treasure hunt in their house. So they are going to go from one clue to another to another. They will be solving the clue and guessing the food, and they will have the food in that station. So that is what they're going to do. So are you ready? I'm going to put up clues and you will tell me which place and what is the food there, which is very famous. Okay, ready? Yeah, it's all about food. Come on, I need enough participation for this particular lesson. Okay, very good. Right. First clue to you. I am home to the great Chhatrapati Shivaji. Easy, easy. Which place? Which place? Yes, yes, yes. Maharashtra. System PC, please rename yourself so that I can read out. Yes, that's right. What is the food? What is the food of Maharashtra, which is very famous? Okay, Modak. Somebody is wanting Modak today fully. Okay. Roti, vada pav. It's Mumbai, Maharashtra. That's right. And it is vada pav. Yay! How many of you love vada pav? Vada pav, vada pav. Raise of hands. Great, 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 great. Lovely, lovely. Let's go to clue 2. Okay, ready for clue 2? I put the answer also. Clue 2. Go to the land of 5 rivers. Which is the land of 5 rivers? Quick, 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 quick. Punjab, that's right. And what is the food there? Food, food, food. Famous food from Punjab. What is that? Okay, paratha, makki di roti. Yes. How many of you Punjabis here? Okay. Of course, any dish with paneer, actually we connect to Punjab, right? So sarso saag is the right answer actually, but picture of paneer. Okay. The next one is clue number 3. The land of Durga Puja. Where's this? Where's the place? Where's the place? Quick, 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 quick. Bengal, that's right. And what is the food there? What are they known for? I gave you a clue. Fish curry. Okay, I'm trying to stick to vegetarian dishes. Rasgulla, that's right. How many of you are like, even today, even now at this instant, if I give you 10 rasgullas, you can eat. How many of you like that? Very good. Raja Rajeshwari ma'am, high five. I am also similar. Okay, let's go to the next station. Oops. I am one of India's 7 sisters. Okay, you should tell me the place and the dish. Dish. Tripura, Sikkim, Assam, Sikkim. What is the dish? Quick. Momos. That's the right answer. Momos. Now, whenever we are seeing food, no, it will go into our head. When was the last time I ate this? Right. Next clue. I am the land of silk saris and tall gopurams. Actually, there are many states which are this, but yeah, it's Tamil Nadu. Yes, and it is our favorite. Whatever you said, pongal, idli, dosa, vada, bonda, sambar, everything. Okay. So like this, through this, you can even increase this. In class, you can actually arrange, you can have one place with a clue and kids go there, they see the clue, they say, okay, this place, and then they go to that place, they have a clue. So literally you can set this up in class. Just that you can only probably give them the, cards, but not the food. But yeah, it'll be a fun class trying to go on a food hunt. Okay, what is special about our culture is that even for gods, we have unique prasadams. Do we give the same prasadam to all the gods? No. So how do we do it? Yeah. So what is the prasadam we give for Krishna? Krishna. Okay. Sorry. I'm still in idli sambar. I didn't get any message. Aval. Okay. Butter. Poha. That's right. So Krishna, we give butter. We give fried stuff like, cheetah. And then we give muruk, venna. That's right. So that is also seasonal food if you kind of get it. I will correlate it towards the end. Okay, the next god, Hanumanji. Vada mala, banana, vada pappu, vada venna, vetrila. Okay, laddu. Yes, fruits and vada are the most important offering to Hanumanji. And you will also see that Hanumanji has vada mala. And in the north, there are many places where jalebi is made. Jangri jalebi is made. And, both jangri jalebi or vada, it's all urad dal. So the same basis is maintained, but different kinds of dishes are made south and north for Hanumanji. And yes, for our Ganesha. Yes, Ganesha. Modak, Laddu. That's right, Laddu and Modak. And for Sri Ramji. Yes, Kolkatai. Sri Ramji. What do we make for Ram Navami? Panakam. Neermor. Neermor is basically buttermilk. Okay. So we make buttermilk and panagam, which is a jaggery based dish for Ramanavami. Ramanavami happens usually in April, May. So that is the hot season, summer season. We give a coolant as the prasadam. And for the like Janmashtami, when it is happening, it's slowly transcending into the winter season. So that time we give something like butter and fried stuff, which creates heat in the body. So in the summer season, a coolant, and in the winter season, a warmth producing food. So likewise, even the prasadam has a lot of thinking to go into it. Okay. So now quickly the activities that we do in class, we have done too much of this, so I'm not going to go into it. So like this, there is an activity in the book where different names of the places are associated, like Indori poha, Malabar parota, Kalimpong cheese. So these are all from different places. So you can get the children to put it on a map of India, and you can also get them to match it to what it means, what it actually is. Mysore Pak, Amritsari Paneer Tikka. So everything has a place associated with it. So moving on, I told you it's a very interesting lesson. Okay, so make your own menu card. So the children get into groups and they're asked to make their own menu card. And in this menu card, we see to it that it is a balanced diet and all of it comes in. So once they finish and they present, we ask them, did it have pulses? Because pulses help in growth. So dal, rasam, sambar, those things have pulses in it. So did it have fruits and vegetables? So fruits are usually taken in the beginning. So there is an order to this also. We don't take fruits in the end. So in the Indian style of eating, you won't see milkshake, where it is a fruit-based milkshake as a dessert. Because fruit is always had in the beginning, not in the end. So, vegetables are usually either they are cooked or they are taken raw. If it's taken raw, it is taken in the beginning. If it is cooked, it is taken with the main course. So did it have grains? It could be millets, rice, roti, anything. And did it have a healthy fat? Healthy fat as in a little bit of ghee, something oily. It could be anything that goes with it, but a little bit of ghee is also given because it improves our energy level. It gives brightness to the skin. There are so many things like that. Did it include a sweet? Because our culture wise, while we are eating on a banana leaf or on a thali, we don't eat sweet in the end. We take it in the beginning. Sweet is an appetizer for us. And it's also like starting with a sweet, you know, we always start with a sweet. So it could be sugar based, jaggery based, anything. So likewise, you get the child to understand there is a rationale to the food. It's not like you can eat curd rice first and then eat something else later. So there is a rationale to why it is the way it is. So we are sensitizing the child. So discuss about local cuisines, especially from that place. It could be through a quiz, and talk about seasonal food, because out of season when you eat something, it can cause you a cold. It can cause you, you know, the body might not cope up to it. So highlight how Indian food, it always focuses on a balanced diet. Talk about their favorite dish. Talk about the favorite dish of their parents, grandparents. So these are the other things we can ask them after the week. You know, did you talk to your grandparents? Do you know what is their favorite food? Things like that. So with that, we come to the end of that lesson, class 3. Class 3 has 2 more very interesting lessons, and there is enough content given in your teacher handbook. Please refer that. Class 4, dream big for India. This is a very interesting lesson. And this is about pride in the country. So dream big for India, we are introducing brands to the child. Okay, I'm going to go a little faster because I don't have time to finish. What do we want them to know? We want them to be aware of Indian brands, because they are facing brands in their daily life. Everything, right from the pencil they use to the bike in which you drop them in school to the laptop on which you are attending this session, it's all a brand. Correct? Every product has a brand. So how do I search for Indian brands? So to become aware of Indian brands and feel proud and inspired by the stories behind some of the brands, and thinking of how can I appreciate this, and that respect for Indian products, and doing, even when I buy a pencil, probably I will buy an Indian product. So that will come into practice only when we are aware about it. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to play a quick game. Anukula Nanji, can you become the volunteer for this game? Are you there? Okay, I can see Preeti Jaikumar on my screen. Because I need somebody with the video on. Okay, Preeti ji, can you unmute yourself? Okay, a simple game this is. Okay, this is a game of Damsharans. I am going to send on private chat to Swamiji one particular brand, and you will act that out, and Preeti ji will find it. Okay, right, Swamiji? Okay. Swamiji, did you get it? Okay, Preeti ji, focus. It's an Indian brand.
I can't see.
You can't see Anukula Nanji. Wait. I'll spotlight it. Now can you see Anukula Nanji? Yes. Swamiji, act again. Shiva, something more?
Nataraj.
Yay! That's the right answer. Thank you, Swamiji. Thank you, Preeti ji. Okay, so we will start the class like that. We will give them different things to act. You know, different brands. It can include Indian brand, foreign brand, doesn't matter. So they will act out, and then we will tell them, oh, these are all names, right? So what is a brand? Brand is an identity of a product. That means it can be a name, it can be a logo, it can be a term, it can be a design, it can be a symbol. So that is what a brand is. So we introduce it through a game to them. And then we say a brand influences people's choices and thinking. That is why brands are important to us. So do you see what are the brands around you? And then which of these are Indian brands? Now quickly, I'm opening the chat box. Any Indian brands around you? Quick. Come on. So that is why I said, just like I said yesterday, this patriotism lesson plan will always be us learning more. And through us learning, we are going to teach the children. Because for us to know which are the Indian brands and which are not the Indian brands, we have to do our own research, right? Yeah, Tata, Titan, Synthol, Patanjali, Amul, Bajaj, amazing. Himalaya products, super. Very good. All of you are aware. So, did you know that many Indian brands are famous across the globe, not just in the ancient times where we were trading? Even today, our brands are well sought after across the globe. So, we make them become proud of Indian brands. Okay. So we go ahead. So this is the story here. Basically, there is a child. The child wakes up right from the time the child wakes up. The child eats breakfast. He sees the milk and the brand there. While he's brushing his teeth, he will see Himalaya, whatever the brand of the toothpaste, toothbrush. So throughout, the child will be focusing on all the brands around them. So through this story, we also get the children to be aware about all the brands around them. Okay. And then we talk in detail about Amul, the brand. So one of the largest producers of milk in India, and that is a very inspiring story as well. I'm not going to go into the story. You can read it up for yourself about Verghese Kurian, Dr. Verghese Kurian, who was called the milkman of India, and how he started this revolution and why it was required at that time, how they eased the situation of the farmers and created a milk grid across the nation. And Amul, like you all said, okay, what is the tagline of Amul? Quick, 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 quick. Tagline. What is the tagline? Amul. And I'm not getting answers. Okay. If I put the answer, you'll be like, oh, I know that. It is the taste of India. Okay, so Amul, the taste of India. So Amul today is one of the biggest, it's one of the biggest companies that we can proudly boast of, having an inspiring background story to it as well. And they didn't just stop with making money, they are not just a company which makes money. They are also actively taking part in their messages to the society. So through the Butter Girl, the Amul Butter Girl, they create various different ads that are and information for all of us as well. So what is this occasion in which this ad came around? Chat, chat, chat. Anybody? Okay. I'm just going to keep going. Ram Mandir. That's right. Bhumi Puja of Ram Mandir. Next one. Char Chand Lag Gaye. Which one was this? This one was for ISRO when they successfully launched India's first unmanned vehicle to moon. That is when this was brought about. The next one, Union के हर territory में. The real article. Yes, that's right. Kashmir loses its special status. And this one, Sindhustan. Yes, PV Sindhu's silver medal in the Olympics. So likewise, Amul takes part in the different happenings of the country. And also this lesson talks about Jamshedji Tata. It talks about how he brought about an amazing set of companies, right? It was like Tata is an umbrella company and it has so much under it. And they were the first ones to even start an airplane. Even in the airplane industry, they were the first in India. And then it was sold over to the government of India. So hotel industry, not just like he wanted to create a 5-star hotel experience in India, luxury hotel brand in India. So he had to persevere for that. And he brought it about. He brought a high standard lifestyle for the Indians as well. So that is about Jamshedji Tata and the Tata brand. You can talk about the different things that are there in the Tata brand, right from the tea you drink to the salt you have to the car you drive to the company your dad works in. There are so many things that the Tata brand owns today. So that way, how it all had a humble beginning and how it all started with an inspiring thought. So we put that into the child's mind. So the quick logo quiz. We don't have time for it, so I'm just going to rush through. If you know any of these, you can reply. So the one with the elephants, what is it? Fevicol. Yes. So these are the brands. So you can get them a logo quiz and ask them to find out the brands, Aven, Parle, so many brands, okay? And we are also introducing our, sorry, I'm running out of time. Just a quick 1 minute, Swamiji, and then I'll finish. So Air India is also a brand, but it is owned by the government. But that has, like, even during the most difficult crisis situations, Air India is the one which carried the biggest and riskiest evacuations of the world. So those kind of things, ISRO, how it operates and what all it has launched and what we should be proud about in ISRO. We should talk about the Mars mission that it has, all of these things. And then Indian Railways. We don't think of Indian Railways as a brand, but it is, right? The fourth largest railway network in the world, okay, and ninth largest employer. So such great information about our own government brands also we bring to the child, so that next time the child relishes that experience and connects, saying, hey, this is an Indian brand, hey, that is an Indian brand. So that is something we are trying to bring into the child. Yes. We had one more lesson, but we are running out of time. So Swamiji, do I stop? Okay. Let's do that. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, we will be open to take them.
Thank you, Radha. A lot of interesting information, a lot of activities, a lot of research. Well done. Congratulations. I think all teachers, we should give Radha also a round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much.